good to see you. I missed y'all so much. If you didn't come to my late night live stream last night, then they've already heard all this, blah blah blah. But I miss y'all like crazy. But I did enjoy my vacation. It was so fun, and thank you to my co-host Miss Mouse Toes over here, the hostess with the mostest.
Yes, I am so glad you got to get a break and with your husband. It refreshes your whole life. Vacations are, it doesn't matter if it's 3 days or it's seven or it's 10.
Hmm.
And then the two of you get reconnected. Nobody can call you over. I need somebody to help me start my lawnmower. My generator won't start or whatever.
Hmm.
And then it's like, oh yeah. And it feels
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
it
So
was
I'm
so
glad
good.
y'all had a great time. And I liked your little, like your campfire video and the little
Oh,
fuzzy duck butts diving in the pond. That was
I
very,
know it's so
yeah,
cute. I would
lower
have
your
just
blood
I
pressure.
I would have just named it Fuzzy Duck Butts, but I was scared that
Yes,
YouTube would, not like that so
yes,
much. So, but it was adorable watching them all with their little butts up in the air while they're diving for their fishies.
yes.
I saw you on Lisa's chat, Sutton's Days on Monday night. Y'all did awesome as always.
I was a lunatic, okay, because I adore her. And yet her smile, like when she starts out, she's not smiling. When she smiles, she's just a cute woman, right? Her smile is enthusiastic. She got little twinkly eyes, and she's always positive, like you. And it's like, oh my God, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad you were there. And it was just, it's
Yes, I
Morgan
was.
threads and jars. And it's
And
just
thank you for
like,
your kind words regarding
oh,
me. I
heck yeah.
appreciate that.
Well,
You know I love
you're
you,
the
girl.
one who got me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting a webcam, but I can mod your chat." When it was the oils chat, when you were
Mhm.
oily. That's why some of them still call you oily. I'm trying to stop doing it because it doesn't make sense to people. Hey, oily, and I'm like, "No, Tasha, okay," because I can't call you prep for, right? That's a little macho. And you said, "No, no, you can do it on your laptop," and I was like, "Oh my God, you are the only person who could have gotten me to sit in front of a camera. You said, I'll do everything. I'll just ask you some things. And then, you just watch and tell me if there's a question. You're the only person I trusted that I could go up there and not be like, are you doing that? Or, you know what I mean? You made me feel very comfortable. And Lisa's like that. She'll never put you in a bad position. You know what I
Right.
mean? And because she's always positive. But I remember the first ones, I was like, oh Lord, we had Fuzz over there, Fuzzy Fork,
Oh,
remember
yes,
Fuzzy Butt?
love Buzz.
Yeah, and we had a great time.
We
Yeah, and I
did.
did not realize that Di Bullfrog all this time was Uncle Al. I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah,
it. I'm
yeah.
dumb. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't
no,
remember
you're not
things.
them.
Oh,
And
now everybody put your helmet on and gird your loins because Suburban Hillbilly is here. Okay. And if she talks about flat, she means lid. She ain't got no dang sense. Okay. Hi, Suburban Hillbilly.
and
God, I
Threads and
love
Jars
you.
is out there, and C. Dean and
Yes.
Sandra Moody. And thank you, Miss Sandra, for modding out there for me, along with Miss Mouse Toes.
Hey, Lady Casca.
Hi,
Oh,
lady.
gosh.
So, yeah. So all of those who love Mouse Toes and love watching on our live streams, you're welcome.
It's Tasha's fault. Okay, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't understand. I'm too insane. I'll say something stupid. She said, no, you'll be fine. And she's the only one. I think it took me like the fourth live chat is to be in there modding and telling you the questions when you'd say you said, I'll ask you if they're questions. So I had them all organized. And you were the four. It took me all four. On the fifth one, I was more calm. And you even told me after, you said you were more calm because I was in the groove. And you've never
Mhm.
changed your format of lives. You know what I mean? You always remain very calm and organized. So,
Awesome. Throws and Jars has a question for you. Hello, Bushcraft family. Hello, Miss Laura. Good to see you both. Miss y'all like crazy. Okay, so did you see her question?
I did. It may have been Lisa on Sutton's Days, Morgan, Threads and Jars, who asked that because I've never used the Golden Harvest lids. But yes, yeah, she'll see that and know that they were at Walmart. Because remember, they come out with the weird lids and they're thinner and they're buckling on some people that don't have Golden Harvest on it. And
Yeah.
okay, thank you. I will pass that on to people who've asked me about them.
Yeah.
you know?
All
Oh my
right.
God.
Well,
Suburban Hillbilly scored 10 boxes of lids. And it probably says lids
mm,
on the box, but Suburban Hillbilly goes, ooh, I got 10 cases of flats. So
that's what a lot of us grew up calling them. So
it
it's
ain't
hard
right.
getting,
It ain't
it's
right.
hard changing. I keep catching myself too. So,
Right.
all right. So tonight's subject, my peeps, is prepping for upcoming seasons now. Okay, you want to do it now because first of all, item availability. If you wait until that season, you may not be able to find what you need when you need it. So look ahead to these upcoming seasons of whatever it is you're going to be dealing with. For instance, if you're going to do a fall and winter garden, hey, Uncle Al, good to see you. If you're going to do an upcoming fall and winter garden, you're going to need to get the stuff that you're going to have for it. You're going to want fertilizer, the seeds, or bulbs, whatever it is that you're going to do, extra tools in case something breaks on you, whatever you're going to need to amend or treat the soil. Hey, Stephanie. So, yeah, think about those things as far as gardening goes. Anything else you can think of as far as gardening goes that you might want to consider?
I ordered a bunch of seeds today because I was worried that I would not be able to find them like I could not earlier in the year.
Right.
You know, okay. And also, Vern picked up fertilizer. We keep it in these like 5 gallon buckets. And
Hmm.
so he's only buying a small amount, like every month is what he builds up to. Because we remember, you don't want to be a red flag person. I'm just buying gardening fertilizer. And I cannot save seeds here. I did when I lived in the upstate, the Greenville, the Pelzer, Simpsonville area, South Carolina,
Hmm.
because we have prehistoric insects. So I came with all these saved seeds and I planted them and they got shredded. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. So I have to get hybrids. So, and then
Yeah.
I was like, I just loved getting that Baker heirloom catalog and ordering seeds and saving them. So I would say that for the garden, saving eggshells so I could make my calcium supplement for them,
Oh, yeah.
neem oil. Those I get those now, so that I've got a big tub of the things for gardening. Because remember, in 2020, we just have to refer to as then. My God, people were freaking out, and you couldn't get any
I
of that stuff.
know, I know. And Laura mentioned something that I'll go into more detail in a little bit is extra lids for her canning.
Okay.
Um, okay, number two, cold and flu meds or herbal natural alternatives, menthol salves or beeswax or other items to make your own. You also like stuff that you want to get your tinctures made now for then because those have to sit a while. Maybe some cough syrups, drops, lozenges. Make your own homemade cough syrup. Like when my elderberries are ready, I'll be making my own elderberry syrup for the winter. Things like vitamins and stuff to help boost your immune system for during those times. So yeah, be thinking about those things.
Mhm.
Also for your pets too, if they have any like different times of the year, if they have allergies or anxieties, like with certain kinds of weather, like if you're doing hurricane season or tornado season, things like that, you want to make sure that you have stuff for your pets as well.
Mhm. And their
Um,
paws can get tore up, skin conditions, those kind of
yep,
things.
yep, exactly. Um, items for auto safety for the upcoming seasons, like kitty litter for traction, de-icer, shovel to dig out of the snow, antifreeze. My husband also said whenever I was going over my list with him, hey, farmer's son prepping, you also want to make sure and check your antifreeze, not like look in there and say, oh, yep, there's some in there, but
Yes, and it's
like,
orange.
yeah, you need to check it to make sure that it is the right consistency because you don't want just straight antifreeze. You want like a mixture, and the mixture depends on how cold it's going to get in your area.
Mhm.
So there's a testing kit that you can get to test it. It has these little ball thingies in it, and you can test it, and it'll talk you through it on how to do it on the instructions. So he recommends highly to get that and to test your antifreeze mixtures and make sure that they're correct for your vehicles and your temperatures.
And if you
Um,
had one of those, they're the little round thing and it's got the rubber tube,
mm,
is replace it if you've had it longer than say 8 to 10 years. That rubber becomes crackly inside.
mhm,
And Ern just did that last year. He said, I'm going to order a new one because they're easier to
mhm.
order online than find in the store to get those good ones. And he said, because he noticed when he used it, he saw a little bit of black come out and it was that rubber disintegrating on the inside. The outside looked fine. So,
Yeah.
because that is, yeah, your car won't start and you crack your radiator, that's a bad
Yep.
time.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, Bug Dude 53, completely understand. Hi, Raven Cat. Good to see you. Okay, so other things, window washer, deicer, um, and any other things that you have issues with for like equipment that you're going to be using for different seasons, like lawnmower blades, chainsaw replacement chains, or getting those chainsaw chains sharpened, things like
Oil.
that, and
Mhm.
the oil and everything that you're going to need for mixing your fuel and stuff like that for it. You want all of that ahead of time because it's usually cheaper if you buy it off season, okay?
Yes.
um Batteries for changing in your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors. You want to oil and lube shortage, right? Bullfrog, yes. So you want to try to get all of those things when you see them when you can, because you don't want to be without when the season comes up. But you want batteries for those smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and also charging those batteries in your radios and things like that for storm seasons that are coming up. Anything along those lines. You want to get things like rock salt, right?
Yes.
Or other items for icy walkways and stairs and porches and decks if you live in an area where that occurs. Okay. Plywood and screws for your windows and stuff for hurricane season, right? Mouse
Hmm.
knows all about that. What are
Yes,
some
I
other
do.
things to get prior to hurricane season, Miss Mouse?
Along with the batteries, if you keep a battery powered flashlight in your car before your winter comes after summer, remember I'm in a very hot place, change
Yeah,
those batteries because they will expand. And then you don't have, I like to keep a solar crank one in my car because it can handle the heat here. But in the
yeah,
winter, I get a mag light and then I put new D cell batteries in it. Then I put that in because it's not affected. But oh
yeah.
yeah, and then people are saying there's a battery shortage on the East Coast. I wanted to get a new battery for my trolling motor because I thought, I'm getting older. Maybe I should use my little John boat with just my trolling motor on it. I'm not paying no $180 for a dang battery. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
So
such a
and
mess.
just think about what's in. Yes, Laura said wiper blades
Yes, that's
and
a
gloves, and also make sure not only do you have de-icer, but you've got the little
striker.
handle. I have one that you put your hand in a glove, and make sure that thing is not cracked because the end of them's plastic.
Yeah.
'Cause nothing sucks worse with a friend whose defroster ain't working, probably ain't worked since she had the car. She has one of those, and you get out, you scrape it on the ice, and it disintegrates. And then she goes, do you have a credit card? Not that I'm scraping your windshield with, sister. It's a big windshield. Are you crazy out your mind? You know? Okay, now Sandra's saying, am I the loud one, Sandra? And Tasha's very low. Could you clarify on the sound issue? It's probably me because I'm a screamer.
Mouse toes, you might turn your volume down, and then I'll turn my
Gotcha.
volume up a little. See what I mean?
Okay.
So that because
Yes.
it's loud in my ear if I have my
Oh,
volume up much higher.
and see, I'm hurting your ears. Okay, now
Nope,
Sandra,
it's just you have a good volume and I don't. Hi, Sarsco.
but I hate listening with earbuds when somebody like me is loud and then the host is not because your ears hurt. Sandra, is there any improvement?
I think that's better. Sandra, do
Yes.
you hear me better? Okay. Um, let's see. Items to winterize your home, such as those the little strips that go around your windows to help block drafts, insulation, things like that. Think about things like that. Also, firewood needs to be seasoned, people. So you need to be cutting it now. or getting it now from whoever. And then you can, stack it up and let it dry out in season now. It's going to be cheaper now than it is in the colder months. This is the time to go cut it if you need to cut it. Um, Propane. Somebody mentioned that propane, natural gas, things like that, fire starting items for warming your home. Checking all of those things that you use to warm your home, like your gas heaters and things like that. You want to do your maintenance on those prior to the season. You don't want to wait until it's 30 degrees outside and then be like, oh, I'm cold, time to turn on the heater. And then something goes wrong with it or it doesn't work. You want maintenance done on that prior. Um, so yeah, things like strike a fire. I'll show you. Um, a lot of times I cut these in half, but they're like huge matches and they're real waxy. So I use these in my fireplace. You want extra lighters. And then I'm the fire starter in my house for our fireplace, and that's our main source of heat. So I get these. It's Fat Wood by Duraflame. You can buy fat wood online, in other deals, and around a 25 pound is pretty cheap. And I take these, and sometimes I'll just put one in there to get my fire going because it has natural properties in it that are terpenes that catch fire quickly and easily, kind of like turpentine. That's why they smell kind of like turpentine, but it'll
Oh,
get it started. And yeah, so it'll get it going, and then that way, you don't have to sit there and babysit that thing. You'll get it going pretty quickly. Um, let's see, appropriate clothing. Okay, like you want to buy those a season ahead if you can. Things like coats, jackets, gloves, boots, hats, rain boots. Um, like even for hunting, like your hunting vests and caps, the orange vests and caps and things like that. Whatever it is that you're going to need for the upcoming season. And like Farmer Son said, the candles, lamp oil, sterno, canned fuel, things like that. For if you know that you're going to be coming on, sometimes if you get ice storms or for whatever kind of storms and the electric goes out, you're going to want to prepare ahead of those storm seasons for those things. An alternative way to cook if you don't have a way to cook if the electric's out, just things like that. So be thinking along those lines. um, Other
see,
replacement parts for equipment you will be using, in upcoming seasons, um, are like, um, oil changing supplies, O rings for tractors. When we lived up in Nebraska, my husband would have to change out the O ring on the tractor that he used to feed the cows every day
wow,
because the cold would it freeze it. And he'd have to keep the new O ring warm in his mouth. He'd pull out the old O ring and then he'd go like that real quick and put it in there. And if he didn't do it just right, it would freeze before he could even get it put on. That's
wow.
how cold it is.
See,
And you
Dean
were going
made
to
a good
say
point.
something? Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
C. Dean said wicks. When we're talking
Yes.
oil lamps, when you
Mm-hmm.
buy it at your hardware store, if you don't get it at a yard sale, buy the pack of wicks. It says right on the box what size wicks it take. Because when you
Yeah.
start seeing that wick burn down when you've gone 10 days without power, it's scary. And people say use a shoestring, that thing will burn so fast, it's unbelievable. I
Yes.
know, Stephanie, I'm a pounder on the keys, and my keys are, of course, close to the microphone on my earbuds, so I'm a pounder. It's just what I do. It's horrible.
Yeah, if
It's
you
tough.
hear the clacking, that's just mouse
Yeah,
toes typing. Just ignore it.
that's what I do.
Okay. Maybe Stephanie has misophonia where she has a hard time with certain sounds. Some
Yeah.
people
Oh,
do.
yep,
Yeah.
I hear it. I'm like, oh my God. It's why we were so responsive to Sandra. I have had to leave chats where the host is so blessed loud and I've got earbuds, but the other people I have to turn my volume up to hear them because when the loud one comes on, you want to rip your earbuds out. But yeah, I know I've listened and I've gone, oh my God, that is me pounding on a keyboard. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I,
It's
I
okay.
apologize.
Nah, it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me any. Okay. So in addition for hunting season, you get a look at things like your bows, your arrows, arrow
Yes.
tips. string, your freedom seeds, clean and check your freedom sticks, make sure they're working properly. For your fishing supplies, an extra pole, lures, whatever you're going to need for fishing, you want to have that ahead of time, right?
Hmm.
Um, and like for hunting and fishing season and after gardening season or during garden season, you're going to need things to preserve that food once you do get it, right? So, like vacuum
Yes.
seal bags, freezer bags, any other items for preserving food, such as canning jars, lids, seals, parts for canners, all of those things that, go along with that season, whatever it's going to entail, your canning salt, your just all of your stuff that you're gonna need, and you want that ahead of time. Check all of your equipment, make sure there's nothing that needs replaced on that stuff. Hi,
Hmm.
Miss Kaylin. It goes good, Miss Kaylin. How are you? Um, if somebody's out there that can share Mouse Toes' channel and Kaylin's channel, anybody else's Suburban Hills Hillbillies, Threads and Jars, Bug Dude 53, anybody that's out there that has a channel that wants their channel shared,
Hmm.
hit a thumbs up, and then maybe a mod can share that out, okay? Because we want to help each other out, right?
Yes. And I agree, Threads and Jarred. A lot of YouTube channels are using music and it's very loud. You used to be able to do a video and click on set the music to the backdrop in the YouTube setting. You can do it in your editor, but YouTube pushes it. And if I want to hear what they're saying, plus I'm like, okay, I got 40 minutes, I can listen, it's going to be good information. But the music will drive me nuts, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I am. I because my husband is sort of hard of hearing and he plays everything so loud, it's affected my hearing. So like background noises, I can't, and plus having a permanent headache, it's hard for me to
Yes.
concentrate on what's being said when music is being played while they're speaking and trying to teach you. So I usually just move on to a different video. I don't even stay. And it's not to be rude, but I can't do it. Like it
Yeah.
like causes anxiety for me actually, believe it or
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like where they're just doing something and they're not speaking and there's music, cool beans. Hey Ginger
Yes.
Ninja. Um hey Gray Man Prepping, Mr. Gill. Good to see you. So yeah, I understand that threads and jars, Miss Morgan. Um
And
let's
two, your
see.
husband works around equipment, you know what I mean? So that can
Mhm.
make hearing loss. Guys who drive trucks are generally very
Oh,
loud, but think about it,
yeah,
they're bouncing around that truck.
yeah. See, he worked on natural gas uh, engines, like the compressor engines, and those are
Yes.
so loud. And even with like form fitted prescription type ear
Hmm.
protection, it's still affected him. So yeah,
Yep.
so that's affected me over the years too.
Hmm.
Um, so let's see, extra meds and foods for your livestock and pets as well, because it's not just us, it's them. Things like if you're going into calving season for us, colostrum in case the mom rejects the baby or the mom dies during birth or something, you need colostrum, you need milk replacer, you need all of the stuff that you're going to need to take care of those babies, bottles, nipples, things like that
Hmm.
for feeding them. Um, Having your hay good and ready
Not
before
molded.
before those cold seasons come. Make sure you're putting it up. Make sure you're putting up plenty of it. Um, Another one my husband suggested, like right before fall. Um, well, he always, just because we're in a higher fire danger area, he keeps the grass cut pretty short because, and he also makes sure that debris and everything is cut back and uh,
Yes.
hauled off and stuff like that. He doesn't want anything that's going to increase our risk of fire danger.
Hmm.
So that's a good tip, I thought.
Yes.
Let's see. Heat lamps for your well house. This was also him. He
Yes.
makes sure his checks his heat lamps and has extra bulbs to make sure they're working properly. Heat tape for pipes, extra heating elements for water heaters, things like that. Which that's year round. If you have an electric water heater, hard water builds up and your element goes out. That's no bueno. You don't
Right.
want to be stuck without your hot water, but you can live without it. But it's always
Yes.
nice to have a hot water. But just think about things like that. Extra filters for your air conditioner and heating
Hmm.
units, all of that stuff.
And
Um,
those come in handy having them if you don't want to go out, or in 2020 when there wasn't anything in the store, that you could be safer staying at home, not getting on an icy road for something you could have had in stock.
yeah, yeah. Uncle Al keeps us updated on all of the shortages. I love him so much. I went and stocked
Yes.
up on ketchup after he told us about ketchup um,
Yep.
shortages. Let's see.
It's crazy.
Yeah, see, Dean, make sure your hay doesn't have grays on. It can
Hmm.
kill some of your
Or
animals.
moldy, people can store it wrong, and then you're like, oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Extra mantles for lanterns. That's
Hmm.
awesome. Definitely farmer sun prepping. Good to know.
Hmm.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Bug out bags. Make sure you have everything you need. Just like before tornado season, I have a video on it where I prepared my shelter. I cleaned it, prepared it, got it all ready to go so there wasn't spiders and all kinds of stuff
Hmm.
down there. And
Yeah.
then having my tornado readiness kit already down there and ready to go in case we needed to be stuck down there.
Yes.
Praise the Lord, we didn't have to. We'll have to watch it again come fall. Fall we sometimes get a risk, although it's not as high as in spring.
Good.
Um, so another thing, not just seasons like spring, summer, fall, winter calving, such as that, but different seasons in our life. You need to be thinking about what you're going to do in retirement, what you're going to do, preparing for if somebody passes, life insurance, things like that, and having all of that stuff ready. Those are all things we don't necessarily want to think about and hope it never happens, but we all die. Sorry, we all do, and
Yes.
we never know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen necessarily. So we have to be prepared for that. So
I
you
like
had
when we were talking about making fires and firewood, and
mhm.
C. Dean pointed out, make sure you've got a good burn cream or salve and know how to use it.
Yes,
Because,
yes,
added in a fireplace, I mean, anybody can have something pop out, burn your shirt, burn deep on your arm, that sort of thing. And just to have the
mhm.
things you need.
Yeah,
And retirement is very different. Like, we've upgraded all of our first aid supplies for the coming season. If we get a hurricane, we're picking up branches, we're liable to get sliced. We're not going to the, emergency care an hour and 10 minutes away. We're going to be able to bandage up or stitch up or staple ourselves here till it's safer to go out. But when you start doing that physical work, like you would say if you came out of your shelter and there wasn't a tree laying on top and you could get out, you need to have good shoes and first aid available because you're going to get cut a million
yeah.
ways.
And if you're cutting firewood or you're working with sharpening equipment and stuff like that, working with knives and stuff that you could get tin and things like that where you could get cut, serious cuts, you need trauma stuff available to you. Trauma
Yes.
bandages, bleed stop, things like that. Should you need it, tourniquets, things like that on hand that you keep with you when you're going out and you are involved in those activities that are higher risk. You
Hmm.
also need to make sure you keep your phone on you when you're doing those higher risk. That way, if
Hmm.
you do get injured and you don't have somebody else out there with you, you can call for help. So that is another thing.
Speaking of that,
If you guys
Tasha,
have any other, yeah,
I
go
just,
ahead.
sorry, I'm not talking over her. I have a bad lag, as y'all know, like 7 to 9 seconds. It makes me sound rude.
No, it's
I
okay.
just got in. I finally read some good reviews on Amazon and got a buy one, get one free kind of, or a two package for putting my cell phone in a case that floats, comes with a lanyard to hang around my neck like kayaking,
Mhm.
right? Or let's
Yes.
say that, Vern's going to go, he'll usually ride his bike and go survey the neighborhood and then get a bunch of guys together. We've got a tree down at the entrance or something, but I shouldn't be out kayaking without my cell phone. But I don't
No.
want to buy another iPhone. So, but I had not been able to find a good one that I could hang around my neck, right? I'm not looking at, for fish information. I just wanted, if I need to call and say I'm not feeling good or I'm overheated, Vern always knows where I'm going. But,
Yeah.
and then, so not only does it have a floaty in it, I hook my own float, but I like the idea of having it around my neck and dropped into my shirt, you know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
protection from the sun. So that
Absolutely.
you're absolutely right about having your phone with you.
Yep. And
Hmm.
and Kathleen Elliott, an appointment to pre-plan that stuff out. Oh my gosh, I look at it this way. Hey, Courtney, White Family Farm. I think it's important to pre-plan that stuff out. I tell my family all the time now, like if something happens to me, I don't want this or I do want that. I don't
Yes.
want people gawking at me at my funeral. Okay, I just don't. I don't like having to walk past somebody's dead body. If I want my private one-on-one time to like go say goodbye and to see them and let it sink in, that's one thing. I don't want somebody to be forced walking past my body as they're walking out of the funeral home or wherever. So those are all things, and I think if I make all of those decisions now, then my kids don't have to make them later, or my husband doesn't have to make them later. It just makes them being able to grieve and not have to go through that mess. So yeah, definitely.
Morgan just made a good point. Threads and jars, military ammo cans can make great medical kits because they're also waterproof and float, with that little seal
Yes.
around them. And most of us, I'm not on big water, but I still have underneath my dock in something that Vern made to attach under it. It's got a tourniquet in it. It's got a big knife in it. It's got major first aid supplies. My friends who live on big water did not have one. And I said, when now I always make jokes and I say, Vern has the shortest dock in my neighborhood, right? Because we do. You
Right.
got to walk through a yard. When you've got to go down a 600-foot dock, if somebody is out there maybe jumping in the water or swimming, which they shouldn't because there's sharks out there, and they get hurt, you are not going to have time to literally hold pressure on them and run all the way back to your house for it. And it's something that every year in hurricane season, people will bring in when a storm's coming. And when you go to their house, it's sitting right at their back door, ready to go back out after that storm's over because you're petrified of being out there. You catch huge stingrays, you can
Mhm.
catch a shark if they've got too big a hook and strong lines. So that is so very important. And that's what most people use here is those ammo cans with the good seal. Oh my God, it's BC Truck, our channel stud. Yes,
Awesome. Hey,
the
Mr.
man who can
BC.
do anything. Yes.
Yes. If I didn't have my husband as my husband, the next one I would want would be BC because
I'd fight
BC
you for him.
can
Fight you
fix
for him.
anything.
Yes, he
Anything.
can.
And he's smart. He's a smart
Yes.
man.
It's sad that he adores his wife, and we're like, man, may she
Mhm.
live long with him because that is his why. That's his
That's right.
bride.
That's right.
Always nice to see you, BC. We appreciate you.
There's a fellow YouTuber out there. I think it's Art and Bree, their channel. It's a homesteading channel. Bree is 20 something weeks pregnant and 26 or 27 weeks pregnant with twins, and her placenta is bleeding. And so they've got her in the hospital. She has other children that her mom's taking care of. So she's concerned about the babies that are in her womb.
Yes.
She asks for prayer. So if everybody could please pray that the babies can stay in there at least till 34 weeks, preferably 37 weeks, so that they are more developed and ready to be born.
Yes.
And then also for her children having to be separated from her. I know that's going to be tough on them
Yes.
as she's hospitalized. So it just be praying for the Lord's peace to be with them, and because I know that that's tough. So,
Yes.
yeah, be praying for them. And there's Miss Trish. Good to see you, Trish. So, y'all, if you think of anything else, preseason things that need to be done, I know there's probably we could probably go on forever, but Mr. BC probably knows lots of things to do preseason, pre whatever season, the manly stuff. I tried to get my husband to come in here with me because I know he has a million ideas, but he's like, I'm not in the mood for people today.
Listen, listen, I don't even like to people. Okay. It's like I just can't people. I feel him. I completely feel
He's
him on not peopling.
He
Yeah.
said,
So,
"I just ate my lunch in the whatever big piece of machinery he ran at work
oh,
today." He said, "I just ate my lunch in there by myself. I just didn't want to deal with people today." He's just having one of those days, you know. We all have
see what
them.
I like? If people were mature enough to recognize those days, we wouldn't have any videos on the Karens in Walmart, or at the convenience store coming unhinged over what seems like petty stuff, but they come unhinged. And I'm like, this was just not the day. We used to say that today is not the day and I am not the one. I'm just not going to people. It's why my UPS guy gets handsomely rewarded at Christmas, and I don't even celebrate the holiday, but he knows to bring my stuff up the stairs. I don't have to people, right? It's just ring the doorbell, knock, or I hear the truck in my driveway, and then I know there'll be a package up outside the stairs.
Exactly. And also fishes, hey girl, no problem. I completely understand. Yes, good bite remedies and repellents and things like that, whether you do natural or chemical, whatever, you want to have all those things on hand if you know you're going to be prior to going fishing, if that's an issue where you fish, if you're camping, if you're just trying to garden and you have an issue with bugs around your place. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, I used to be a people person, but people ruined that for me. BC says,
Couple of,
yes,
and there's a
yes.
good one from Fishes, Tasha. Um, this season, summer, she doesn't have a good bite remedy for ants or skeeters, and probably talking about fire ants, I presume.
Okay. Um, so for essential oils, I do Thieves, Purification. Those are both two blends that I like to do from Young Living. The Thieves has the clove in it that helps kind of numb it. So I love that. I just make sure and dilute it with a little bit of coconut oil or some other kind of carrier oil. And then lavender is also real great. Lavender is known as the oh, what do you call it? The multi-tool of or the
Hmm.
Swiss Army knife of essential oils
Yes.
because it has so many uses and that's one of them. So,
Good.
oh, yeah, mouse typed it in. I was like, did somebody
Yes.
else say that too? See?
No,
See, I
I
know
just
what I'm
typed
talking
in what you were
about.
saying. I just typed in what you were saying because
Oh, that's
sometimes
funny.
it's easier to read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are hey, Mr. Stewart. Oh, Stuart says, spend more time watching than interacting, not lurking, just learning. People suck most of the time.
Yes.
Yes, Stuart.
Yeah.
But you don't suck, mister. I love you. Just saying.
And, we were talking like on Lisa's chat, right? Staying motivated. It is so hard because you have to keep on top of these. And someone else made a
Mhm.
good suggestion for tarps. If you have a roof, we have that in I call it the roofing nails, but it's not. It's a nail, and then it's got like a big washer so that your tarp will stay down. To keep
Oh,
the water out. And I think
mhm.
SOP has done, or Gill, Gray Man Prepping, or the Camp Pet and Family Farm thing has done it on what you need to attach tarp. Because again, in the South, if you keep a tarp, even if it's in some big plastic tubs, in your crawl space or in your garage, they start to disintegrate after a while. So
Yeah,
actually open them, make sure they're still good and they're not cracked because they can
yeah,
crack from heat, not just, being underwater or something. I mean, that'd be crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, in that, it takes a lot of effort to go. We sort of keep a list downstairs and upstairs when we use something. If you like
yeah.
Zycam, that little rapid melt, and you buy them in a 2-pack. When you
Yes.
throw that other pack away, write down to Zycam. And same
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
tarp looked funky, and then before Vern goes to the store, we bring it up and see what we can replace. Because if not, it becomes overwhelming. How many lids did I use? Do I have enough jars open if somebody gets a deer? Do I have enough freezer space? And
Yeah.
just sort of chill out, right? Because we're older, we've got our dehydrators, our canners, our jars. Young people start, and it feels quite overwhelming.
Yes.
Yes. And I love how Hillbilly mentioned this. My motivation is gone since that thing happened that we can't say early last year. Yes, we
Yeah.
put that under the category of 2020. I completely feel you, Hillbilly, because I went through 166 jars of food, like 11 things of chicken on the bone, freezer steaks, and 48 Mylar bags of different pastas, and opened some number 10 cans of Thrive cheese, which
Yes.
was my because, a sister need a pizza or a macaroni and cheese. And so I completely feel you on that because we felt our things leave and we weren't able to replenish them. But that should be our further motivation, but I wasn't motivated yesterday because I needed to dehydrate some, and you got to peel them, you got to clean them to make the scallop potatoes I do, and I use it also in my hobo packs when I make
Hmm.
redfish and stuff. And then you got to blanch them, and then you got all these bowls. So I didn't do it yesterday, but I did it today because potatoes go bad fast. But I
Yes.
completely feel you on that. But I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for every video I watched, every rain barrel we had, you know, camp hand washing sinks, big store of batteries when 2020 came. I was so thankful, but I just hated seeing using so much of the foods,
Oh, I
just to
know.
stay safe.
It's tough, and like you just keep seeing it dwindling down. Everything that you worked so hard to build up dwindling down, but these are the
Yes,
times that we prepped for, and we have to remember that to keep motivated. Things like
yes,
that can happen again, so we have to be motivated. We have to remember that, remember what we learned from that, and work towards doing even better next time, and even better next time, and even better next time. And that's what we got to
yes.
do. And that's why we have these chats too, not only to like give each other ideas to help each other out, but also to just encourage each other because it
Hmm.
is tough. Real quick, I shared Wide Family Farms channel live stream link. She's going to be on at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern, and then after that, Gil, his Gray Man Prepping channel, he's doing an anniversary channel anniversary live stream late tonight also after Courtney's Wide Family Farms live stream. So I wanted to shout those two people out. um, and Sandra, would you maybe look and see if you can share Gil's live stream tonight on the Gray Man Prepping channel, GRAY and then MAN Prepping channel, and
And
that way
that's
we
tonight,
can. Yes, it's
Tasha.
tonight. Yes, I believe
Okay.
it's tonight. Yeah. So we want to make sure. And hey, Gardner Josh, it's okay. He said he was late because he went to the store. Hey, Will, good to see you.
He went to get some liquor. Why didn't he just tell the damn truth? No?
I could have shared mine.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Cat Lady Homestead. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's weird. Sometimes I'm seeing comments on my phone that I'm not seeing on my screen, but now I see Cat Lady now, but it's weird. So if I did not shout you out, like or recognize that you were in here, it's not an intentional thing. I'm not ignoring you. Okay. I may not see some comments. Hey, Dana, Miss Biddy Boo's Homestead. Good to see you, girl.
Biddy
Um,
Boo. Oh my
Miss
gosh, how
Biddy
wonderful to
Boo.
see her.
I know it's wonderful to see all of them. And Will, I'm so happy you're doing better. Mister was praying so hard for you. I love you so much, and I hope you're feeling good now and things are much better. Um,
But at least you tried, Laura. That's all you can do, you know?
What did Laura say? I'm sorry. I guess I
Said
missed
she had
that.
a mess in the kitchen trying to can for the first time, and I was a mess. It was a mess, or I was a mess. Do
Oh,
you guys watch grass grow like we watch water boil? Kathleen, really? Hey,
Laura,
Jit.
Laura, you just got to realize when you're first starting any kind of skill, it takes practice. So just don't give up. Just keep working on it. Don't give up. You're doing fine. We walked through all of the steps. It sounds like you did everything exactly as you should have. I just think it was defective lids. I really do think it was defective lids, girl. So don't even worry about it.
Yep. And you keep it moving. Y'all know I go crazy when I see people open a jar of food, and I'll put it in Lisa's comments on her Canon videos, and they take like a metal fork, your regular dinner fork or spoon, and they start digging out of it. And because, yeah, when a jar breaks, oh, that is so discouraging. You're like,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
holy vessel, and that was expensive.
Yeah. And and when a jar breaks, it can be anything from if it's already been a used jar, it can be from somebody like you said, Mouse. It can be from somebody like digging out their pickle or
Yes.
whatever it was with a metal utensil and scraping the jar and causing a defect. Or it could be just that there was a defect in the jar itself when it was made. That does happen sometimes,
Yes.
like so it all just really depends. So
Hmm.
you can do it. It's all right. It's all right,
Oh,
girl.
Al made 3 cherry cobblers for church. Oh,
Al, you're so
yes.
amazing. You really
Hmm.
are. And he knows a lot about a lot. Like I know a little about a lot. He knows almost everything about a lot. So like
Yes.
the man, it don't matter what subject you bring up. You could bring up frogs, you could bring up nuclear something, you could bring up and Al's gonna know most everything
Yes.
about it. He's such a knowledgeable man. All of those fellas, Gil, Al,
Mhm.
Will, all of those fellas are such knowledgeable. SOP, he's so smart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
this
willing
is
to
a
share and be
yeah,
patient, explaining it to me. They never make us feel dumb. And here's a good point from Biddy Boo's Homestead. Please, people, do not heat things up in the jars in the microwave. Makes me crazy. Okay, it's not meant for that. Like putting in the oven to make a jar cake, just for grins, and not to put them in the microwave. That is
yeah.
very, very good reminder, Biddy Boo.
Yeah, we did talk about that on our live canning stream, didn't we? Mouse Toes to get me back into
Yes.
canning. Mouse Toes went to school for canning. I consider her my canning expert slash guru.
Yeah.
She learned that putting the jars in the oven is no bueno, no good. It's not. I mean that those jar or lid or yeah, those jar companies will actually state that you should not heat them up in the
Yes.
oven. So
Hmm.
they're not made for that. So
That's right.
oh
And
yeah, 32 jars of blackberry jam.
oh,
What?
the
Wow,
jealousy is high here.
me too. Thank
Oh,
you, Uncle Al. I appreciate it. If y'all could make sure and check out Die Bullfrog 79, which we call Uncle Al, his channel. Make sure and check out Gardener Josh. His garden is stinking amazing. It's just unreal. I'm always so jelly. I showed my measly little harvest, of like 5 bell peppers and like 14 okra and minuscule tomato and some cowhorn peppers. There was like 5 of them, and I thought I was doing good. And then his whole counter was just mounded with carrots and beets and all kinds of stuff.
yes.
Like, and he has cabbage that's like the head is like this, the hard center part is like this. It's just
Oh,
amazing.
I think it was Wide Family Farm, which is Courtney, I think, and she showed
Oh,
her garden. And I was like, wow. I was just
yes.
raised beds, just absolutely beautiful. Yes, it was because she was making a stuffed squash, and that was epic. And Kathleen Elliott said teaching her 14-year-old granddaughter to can green beans. We had 4 failures, but it's all good because she's learning, right? And then,
Exactly.
you're going to eat the green beans, but you're helping somebody to learn. you know?
Yeah, it is what it is, and we're the thing is we're not going to be perfect at everything we do all the time. And this is one thing that I mentioned before, perfectionism. If
Yes.
perfectionism can be one of the biggest things that holds people back, because if they don't have the time to do exactly how they want to see it, like this Pinterest picture perfect type um project, then they just don't want to do it, right? and
Yes.
and so, oh, Cat Lady, awesome. We need to everybody check that out too. Cat Lady Homestead 23 Meow has a new video of her farm on her channel. So check it out.
Oh,
Um
excellent.
but yeah, the thing is that you can't let perfectionism stop you from doing it and working on it. Like my garden, it has weeds in it. My garden, it ain't pretty, okay? But it's producing food. Now, would I'd
Yes.
rather it been like this painting looking garden, that looked all fancy and lovely? Of course, the perfectionist in me wants that. But if because of my health issues, if I tried to accomplish that, um, I just physically couldn't. So then I would just throw my hands in the air and say, well, I can't do it exactly this way, so forget it. But that's not blessing my family by doing that. So just remember that, people. Don't let perfectionism
Hmm.
stop you from doing your stuff. Don't give up. If you're feeling down, contact me, Mouse, somebody
Yes.
to let us like just help cheer you up a little bit and talk you through it. I know I have close friends like Mouse and Trish and Josh and them, Sandra, Trisha's husband, Dudley. They all like give me a boost when I'm down. I went through
Yes.
some pretty rough stuff here recently, and they were just there to let me vent when I needed to vent, to talk me through, the sad
Hmm.
times or the frustrated times or whatever, and to cheer me up, just to crack a joke. Josh is one of the
Yes.
best at cracking jokes. And so
And
is Miss Mouse. And
one of
so,
the first things we all can is usually a jam, and it never sets. And people get so upset because they have, like, I've got 8 pints of it. Guess what you got? Pancake syrup. My first
yeah.
strawberries that I grew in my own garden, I did on my own as an adult, right behind an apartment, didn't set. And I had canned strawberry and blackberry and raspberry and stuff with my dad. But I'm telling you, you miss some steps or your pectin's funky. And I was like, oh, this is so sad because I only had a limited number of jars. And of course, I didn't have any money. And then it was like, so I'm telling one of the neighbors, she goes, oh, my mother used to make that. Well, you know what you've got now? You've got some wickedly good pancake syrup. Instead of making strawberry pancakes, you make your regular ones and then you just pour that right over it. And I thought, yes, saving my poor behind some money on maple syrup, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And I actually, believe it or not, my first batch of jam turned out great. My second batch was, and it was strawberry jam, just like yours. My
Hmm.
second batch is the apricot jam that I just made. And that apricot jam, I completely messed up. Hey, kicking it with Harold and friends. Good to see you. Anyway, I accidentally poured my pectin stuff in too soon. I mixed everything together instead of doing one part and then
Yes.
another part. So I was like, well, I'm already here. I might as well see if it'll work. And luckily it did set. I was like, thank you, Lord.
Nice. That is nice. Yeah. See, you
And it's
forget to mix
so
the right
good.
step.
Yes. Tip,
Do you remember
read
the
through
first time trying
the.
to scoop off the frothy stuff? And you're like,
Yes.
this, I'm going to have nothing left in this darn pot by the time I get done with that. My God,
Yes.
you know? Oh God, Trish Wiley said, if you need a good laugh, and imagine her falling from slipping on the dew in the yard. Fluffy, don't bounce. Just saying. Yep, that's it. We
Okay,
land hard.
a Fishes and Loaves Lives has a question. Can you do any jams with little to no sugar?
There are some, and you can find them on YouTube, from people who've tested it and got tested recipes with less. I tried one. I didn't like it. There's a reason a whole lot of sugar goes in fruit. Like strawberries are sweet if we just eat them one by one,
Hmm.
but you cook them in there with little sugar and it's like, yeah, that's not so yummy, right? But yeah, I definitely hear your question. I just prefer now, like if I'm going to make blackberry pancakes or strawberry pancakes, I'm just going to slice some strawberries, lay it in top the batter when I pour it in first. But yeah, I've tried some and didn't love it. Did not love
Yeah.
it. Hmm.
Yes, Biddy, my canning book actually suggested putting like a pat of butter in there to reduce
Yes.
the foam. And that
Hmm.
did seem to help this time compared
Yes.
to the strawberry jam. It was like, yeah, I was like mouse. I was like, oh my gosh, there's not gonna be anything
Yeah.
left.
It makes a
What's the
mess and it turns.
point?
Yeah, I was like, God, why can't I do this? Just seems such a waste. And I like Kathleen Elliott said, I need to learn how to tie knots. Hey, Kathleen, can you tie your shoes? Because you're
Trish
winning if you can.
Trish, bless her heart, she was out in the garden and she wrenched her back. So be in prayer for Miss Trish today because her back's
Oh,
killing her.
an almighty two master. Yes, that is very painful because, or if you don't slip, you can actually hurt yourself worse sometimes grabbing
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
Kathleen, that was my husband was like, you should make better knots. Like I tie a great fishing knot. I mean, I can have a 60-pound fish on there with not even the right test line, and my knots will hold, right? But it turns out all along, because I think it was back in the Prepper X days, he did a thing. All my knots are the cinch knot. I tie my minnow bucket, to my dock arm. I tie my minnow trap with that. And I'm like, see, I can tie my shoes and I do a cinch knot. So much winning. I'm not going to be a Navy SEAL, people. I just don't care. I mean, I know how to hang, right? Sun drop, sunshade on things. But yeah, I can't do that rabbit through the hole around the world. It don't
Oh,
make
yeah.
sense to me. I can't do it. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've got books and little old videos of it. And I'm like, I can't do the knots. So I have one that works. I'm sticking with. I catch fish with the one I use on my hook, and I use my set. I'm good. That's all I'm doing. You
Yeah.
know.
Hi, Prepper 101. Biddy Boo says, but I tell you what, that foam tastes good on toast. LOL.
Oh, why did I think of that? Like on a biscuit. Okay, that would
Mm,
not have been wasted, Biddy Boo. That would we could have just poured the foam right over a piece of toast or a biscuit, Tosh. Darn it, Biddy Boo.
I
You
know.
should have put up a flag.
All right,
Oh,
Miss
God.
Morgan. Miss Morgan, thank you for coming in. You go rest and get rested up for your heavy duty canning sessions this week,
Yes.
okay? God bless you, love you, and take care.
And
We just
threads
have
and
a couple
jars.
minutes left. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Morgan is an amazing person. I mean, she is absolutely amazing. I don't know if y'all saw when she smoked her focaccia bread. She is a madly skilled woman
Mm,
and
mm,
just very kind and again motivated, like Gil is and Southern Ohio Prepper and Uncle
yeah,
Al. It
yeah,
all comes from a place of positivity. And if you need in-depth directions, she will figure out how to give it to you. You know what I mean? In a way that is
yeah,
very kind, because sometimes you're like, I'm so sorry, I know I seem dense, and because a lot of people don't have the patience for that, and she always seems in the mood to people, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So unlike me and Joe, it's like it's just a non-people day. Okay. i'll hear a I'll hear a neighbor talking to Vern in the yard, and you go, you had to have heard us, why didn't you come down? Not in the mood to talk to cranky
Yeah.
old women that are husbands. Just, I'm in an elevated house. They can't see me through the window. I sneak lock the door. I creep over the floor. They don't know, you know?
Well, we constantly have people coming out to the barn, and Joe will go out there, and like they're either using his barn to work on their stuff, or he's helping them work on something, or change a oil, whatever it is,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I shut the door, and I'm like, I hope they don't see me. I know it's awful,
Yes.
but I don't know what it is. I just look awful. I don't feel good. My head's
Mhm.
killing me.
Yes.
I just don't want to people. Like you said, I just don't
Yes.
want to people today.
Just and nobody can make me. I'm grown. I'm retired. Like when I have a job or I went to work recently, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. And I thought they can't. I'm going to go get a job and hoard some money and get some other things, right? And just do some crazy stuff. Other than that, I had to do it. Other than that, when I ain't got to, I don't have to. I had someone actually say to me, I heard you walking upstairs. Yeah. Did you hear the doorbell? I did. Well, you didn't come to the door. I did not. Did you text me and say you were calling me? Something? Well, I needed your advice on something. And you couldn't text me because you got my cell phone. Remember when you used to have a peephole in an apartment and people could tell you were looking through it because the light didn't show? And I know you're there. And I'm just like, yeah, and I'm not opening it. And of course, I say something. Yeah. Yeah. Or you could see their shadow. But yeah, sometimes. And when it's cranky people, I don't have anything in common. They're not coming over to go, hey, you want to go fishing with me? They're just doing some kind of wine mode. I'm like, you talk to them. You're the president of the HOA. I ain't got to play with these people. Right?
Yes, yes. Well, you guys were at a little over an hour.
Okay.
What is that? Singer Moody, even if it's true, you can't see them, or I've never been able to find them. Besides, there's weevil eggs. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about.
It doesn't matter. It's the one I deleted. Is that the comment I deleted?
Oh, I didn't know you deleted a comment.
Yeah, I deleted it. There's a reason I so you wouldn't read it.
Did it say something nasty about me? I might want to read it like Dana last
No, it
over hate
said
mail.
nothing about you. No, it's just things we cannot talk about and remain a
Oh,
viable channel.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
Yeah,
everybody
I,
doesn't get
I,
that.
I've been thinking I might do a hate mail deal when I start getting hate mail.
Yeah.
You're such a vile, evil woman. I can just read
Yes.
all of it like that, and just have fun with it.
I have a whole folder of trolls and boogers is what my file is named. Trolls and boogers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah, and sometimes I read it and it makes me laugh, but I won't give them the light of day on it. But yeah, you'll look at it and go, good Lord, I'm an old broad who fishes in cans. I did not realize I had this kind of power to live in your head. You know what I mean? It tickles you.
Hey, Stan, good to see you. Jill, JIT, Will, you're still lurking, are you? All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Again, I know this is not an extensive list that we discussed tonight, but it's just to get your brain thinking, dust off the old brain and the little cobwebs in there, to get you to thinking about things that you need to be working on now. One of our big things is we always make sure our propane tanks are filled in the summertime because that's usually
Yes.
the cheapest time to get it filled. So y'all remember that and be looking forward to the future seasons and what you might need to accomplish or um, acquire before that comes our way. All right, take care. God bless, guys, and remember to prep for it. Prep for it all. Bye, guys. Oh, and go out and check out Courtney's live stream, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, in 30 minutes. Bye, guys.